All right, today I am taking the Fancy Papers Hazy IPA from Cigar City Brewing in Tampa, which has a tangy lemon juice type of strength to it, at least compared to the other Hazy IPAs to which I compared it. This is rated at 88 on Beer Advocate, and I believe it's 6.5% ABV. I forgot what I did yesterday when I compared this. I forgot what I saw it was. But I can't read the can because my eyes suck. There's the can. And you have this back here. And somewhere on there, it should say what the ABV is. This, I believe, had some mango flavor to it. And I forgot what else it was described. Oh, tangerine. Voodoo Ranger from New Belgium, which I believe is in Colorado. This is rated at 88, also on Beer Advocate, so it's the same rating. This is very smooth drinking, easy drinking beer, very unbitter. Hardly any bitterness at all. The ABV is 7.5, I believe. And this reminds me of a tropical fruit punch. This is what it's like to drink this, at least compared to many other New England-style hazy IPAs. This has several flavors that have been used to describe it, such as pineapple, mango, guava, peach, apricot, grapefruit, orange, tangerine. It's like a fruit punch. Now, as we can see, the Voodoo Ranger poured with more of a head and is retaining it. This is the Voodoo Ranger, and this is the Fancy Papers. I have the bottom of the glasses marked. I got a piece of tape on the bottom of this one. So the taped one will be Fancy Papers. I'm going to make sure there's nothing on the bottom of this one. Now, if I just went by color, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart, but I know that this one has, the Voodoo Ranger has the foam on it. So I'll mix these up and we'll see if I can take a sip here without the foam giving it away, which I suspect is quite a possibility. So I wonder if there's a way that I can just pour it in my mouth without foam touching my lip. We'll see. All right. That's good. If that is the Fancy Papers, it certainly didn't have the tang and the sourness that it did have yesterday, but there was a little bit of bitterness too there. I don't know. It could be the Voodoo Ranger. Yeah, this one tastes more fruity. I think this is the Voodoo Ranger. Plus, I think I got more foam in my mouth with that one. That is good and quite easy to drink. And that one's quite a bit more noticeably bitter. I'm opening my eyes. I think that was the Voodoo Ranger, just as I suspected. I could be wrong. Well, let's finish these up. As this one has some sourness to it. it is a couple of gradient units higher in sourness and bitterness than the Voodoo Ranger. Maybe 2. If we were to rate these on some kind of scale, maybe from 1 to 10 of how fruity and neutral this one is, and lack of bitterness. So, well, I can't say fruity and lack of bitterness. What I can say is, let's just go by bitterness. And I wish I would have looked up the IBUs for both of these. So maybe after this video, when I edit it, I'll look it up and put a note in the description or put some text on the screen of what the IBUs of each one is. But I am not really familiar with the IBU scale is, and I don't know what the range of it is. I don't know what the minimum and what the maximum values of an IBU are used. So let's just say I'll make up my own bitterness units, and I'll say it goes from 1 to 10. Now this one probably has a bitterness of about 2, if that. There's hardly any bitterness in there at all. And this one, I'll give it a 4. So let's talk about fruitiness. If we rate the fruitiness units on a scale from 1 to 10, let's try this one. So compared to most beers, if you say a typical lager or a stout might be the 1 on the fruity scale. And you get into some lagers and some pilsners, and well, it's not necessarily that they're more fruity, but sometimes you can detect hints of fruits in there. So this one, definitely fruitier than a lager. Definitely fruitier than a stout or an English ale. It's supposed to have tangerine and mango flavors, but it's really hard to pick out either one of those flavors. So there is some fruitiness to it. I'm going to give this maybe a 4 on the fruity scale, but I would need to think of something that I know is very fruity. Let's just say a real fruit beer. There are some beers that are designated as fruit beers, and they would be high on the scale, maybe a 10 or so. So, yeah, maybe a 3. Maybe a 4. It's 3.5. But this one, not going as high on the fruit scale as a fruit beer, but I will give it a 5 or a 6, if that. Might be kind of high, but since these are not considered fruit beers, but they do have fruit flavors to them, tropical flavors. Mango, tangerine, apricot, pineapple. And it does remind me of a fruit punch, in a way. This could be a really bitter pineapple. A really bitter pineapple flavor. It might be a good way to describe this. You know, I think that I'm digging the Voodoo Ranger more than I am the Fancy Papers. I think that if I had to drink another one of these, I'm not really into the that bitterness right now, or the tanginess that it has to it. It's significantly tangier than the Voodoo Ranger. The Voodoo Ranger is good, but also, as I said in another video, it lacks excitement. Whereas you drink something like this, and then you drink something like this, and it's mild in comparison. It's boring in comparison. I mean, I wouldn't say it's boring, but I would say it's more boring. Well, anyway, I think I'll prefer the Voodoo Ranger and give it the win, but let's just mix these up and see if there's an improvement. So this is a Voodoo Ranger, half Voodoo Ranger and half Fancy Paper IPA. Hazy. Both of these are hazy styles of New England IPAs. It's interesting that when you crack open the cans and pour these, you could smell the fruitiness. I'm attracting fruit flies here. If it is a fruit fly, it's a damn small one. I think that's what that needed. I think the Voodoo Ranger needed to be cut with about 50% of this fancy paper to give it a little bit of bitterness, to make it a little bit more exciting. And this Voodoo Ranger diluted the fancy papers to take off some of the edge that it has to it. Making that, I think, better than either beer on its own. So the combination of the two beers beats the lone samplings of each. So that's all I have for now. Now we have this beer that I have to compare to two more beers, being Brewdog, Hazy Jane, and Stone Delicious Hazy IPA. I'm saving Hazy Jane for the last, since Hazy Jane has a strong bite to it, like this one, a strong lemon juice type strength to it that this one kind of has, and I don't know which one has it more, but we'll find out. Whereas Stone Delicious is like this, but with a little bit more bitterness, so it's kind of like mixing these two together. I get Stone Delicious right here. And wouldn't that be fun if you went to visit the Stone Factory or the Stone Brewery, which I believe is near San Diego or close to it. I don't know. You go in to see how their Stone Delicious Hazy IPA is made, and you see them pumping in bats of this and this together. Well, that's it. So more beer, more New England Hazy IPA style comparisons coming up. Stick around, and thanks for watching.